Hello everyone, my name is Nero Raven and welcome to the Xander Zone. In today's episode, we'll be talking about the Molten MCI and more specifically figuring out if it is something that actually happens in the games. This is going to be a multi-part series as this episode will cover the Molten MCI. The future parts will cover other possibilities such as Rockstar MCI and more. Though, let's get into how this video will be laid out. First, we'll discuss what Molten MCI is, we will then discuss what Remnant is, then what evidence and issues there are for Molten MCI, then we will cover its story. At the very end of this series, we will rank the theories and likeliness, thus closing the Molten MCI, Rockstar MCI, and really any other possibility. Now, before we get into this episode, we do have a goal of 3,000 subs by the end of the month, so if you could hit that like and subscribe button, that would mean so much to me. Also, feel free to comment down your thoughts, theories, and disagreements in the comments, and I'll do my best to reply. Just remember to keep it kind, calm, and respectful. While you're at it, share this video with your friends and family as every bit helps. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, so let's get into what Molten MCI is. Molten MCI is a theory of the FNAF 1 animatronics, mainly being the Remnant from the MCI, were at some point put into the Fun Times and later became Molten Freddy later on in Pizza Sim. Now, I want to explain how this theory started off in the first place. First, we know that the Fun Times can form into one solid animatronic, being entered, meaning it is possible for multiple pieces of Remnant to be in this suit, if the Fun Times are possessed outside of Elizabeth, aka Circus Baby. Next is building off of this with Candy Cadet. Candy Cadet is a minigame in Pizza Sim in which you play his game and there's a rare chance for him to tell you one of 3 stories that all revolve around 5 things becoming one thing.
Now I will tell you a story. A story about a kind man who would visit 5 orphans and bring them toys and gladness, but returned to find that the burglar had chosen his home, and killed all 5 of the children. The man could only afford 1 coffin, so he stitched the 5 bodies together to make one, and buried the child. One day, the boy found 5 baby kittens outside his house. He brought them inside and kept them in a shoebox, and cut Snake open. He pieced the remains together, and put the kitten back into the shoebox. In the room was a furnace, and 5 keys. She was told that each of the 5 keys would unlock one of 5 doors outside her room. Desperate to find a way to save all 5 children, the woman melted the 5 keys together in the furnace to create a single key, hoping it would unlock all 5 doors.
The next reason that this was brought up is because of a conversation we saw on ScottGames.com and FNAFWorld.com showing us that Ennard, specifically Funtime Freddy, Ballora, and Funtime Foxy all came to an agreement to remove Circus Baby from the suit, meaning that if the Funtimes were possessed by the MCI at some point, then Molten Freddy would just be the MCI in this suit, no Elizabeth Afton at all. So we have evidence that at the very least it is possible for multiple suits to combine into one, thus meaning multiple pieces of Remnant can exist in a suit at once, and with Elizabeth being out of Ennard, that would support this even more. Last thing I see a lot of people forget about is the 4th closet. Now, I'm someone who believes the books are separate canons that can help us understand things in the games, so don't take what happens in this book event for the games. In the 4th closet, the FNAF 1 animatronics are melted down into one crazy looking amalgamation, showing us that again, multiple pieces of Remnant and suits being combined are possible. Also, from the books, and I want to thank fellow YouTuber Sunny Q for pointing this out to me, Circus Baby also injects the Funtimes with Remnant, giving us even more proof. Now, as we move on through the video, more pieces of evidence will be brought up, however those will be brought up in their respective sections. So, that's the base for Molten MCI, though you're probably wondering, what is Remnant and how does it work? Well, let's get into that right now. Okay, so let's get into what Remnant is. Remnant is essentially when a soul which typically binds itself with metal is later melted down very carefully into like a mercury-like consistency, which can later be used to be injected into other objects, which in the FNAF universe is typically an animatronic. We know this based off of Pizza Sim's blueprint of the Scooper, or SCUP for short, which means Scalable Creation of Ulterior Presence. As you can see, the scoop is used to excavate an animatronic, but mainly used to inject Remnant into objects, and the way this is obtained is by heating Remnant at a sustained temperature to make it malleable. If it's overheated, the effects of Remnant may be neutralized forever, with it basically now just being melted metal and nothing else. So, once it has no motion by the human eye, it's at the right temperature. Though once this is achieved, the remnant is lined on the interior of the scoop and is used to inject remnant into something. However, as it states, too much of this remnant being injected can negate its effect. Too much remnant can lead to no remnant as well. So, interestingly enough, this could explain why Michael survives the scooper at the end of Sis's location and how the fun times were all injected with the MCI. However, that'll come up later. Now, with Remnant, that's all we know for certain about it. Everything else about it is very iffy, with what it can do, sometimes being shown and not, or it even changing at times. So, for now, this is what we know for certain. Though, now that we have explained what Molten MCI is and what Remnant is, let's get into the evidence for Molten MCI. Okay, so let's pile up everything we have for Molten MCI to try to help us form a story for the story section of this video. First is the amalgamation from the 4th Closet book. As this doesn't really flat out confirm anything, it does show us that at least somewhere, a Molten MCI is possible. And in this universe, it's by the animatronics joining into one through their FNAF 1 suits, and even the fun times being injected with Remnant. So as a parallel, what's to say our version in the games is Molten Freddy? Next piece of evidence we have is a Scooper blueprint. This file tells us that it's possible for Remnant from another object, in this case being the FNAF 1 animatronics, can be put into another object, again for this case being the fun times. It also shows us how someone like Michael could have survived, meaning that he got too much Remnant in him, neutralizing the other pieces of Remnant, and his staying to possess the Remnant that used to be in his body as a result of being scooped. With Ennard's case, is a case of multiple objects that have Remnant coming together to form an amalgamation with a bunch of Remnant instead of Ennard being injected with a bunch of Remnant. Next piece of evidence is the ScottGame.com and FNAFWorld.com conversations. This shows us that at the very least, outside of Circus Baby, the others are capable of thoughts and wants just like her. So it isn't really crazy to say that they could be possessed or just super smart for robots. Now, this is where we get into evidence we haven't spoken of previously. First, we have the blueprint from Pizza Sim. Now, before I get into it, I have to give a disclaimer. This blueprint actually isn't in Pizzeria Simulator, rather found in the code of the game. Meaning, if you play Pizza Sim, you will never see this blueprint, so its canonicity is debated to this day. So take it with a grain of salt. However, the blueprint shows us that Molten Freddy has the most amount of Remnant out of any animatronic in Pizza Sim. So Molten Freddy is technically the highest priority for Henry and Michael to get, since they'd be releasing the most amount of Remnant through Molten Freddy out of anyone. Also, I just want to bring up a question I'd love for you to answer. If the main animatronics we face off against all have Remnant, why would Molten Freddy be there if he didn't have any? Couldn't Henry or Michael just dismantle it or disable it? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. We are getting into our last pieces of evidence now, so stick along with me. These two pieces of evidence I'm bundling up together as they are pretty much the same thing. In FNAF Help Wanted 1's Ennard vent repair level and Funtime Foxy's hard mode level, we see FNAF 1 endos either being in the furnace in Ennard's vent repair level or roaming around in Funtime Foxy's hard mode level. So what does this mean? Well, I believe personally this means that at some point, specifically after Follow Me in FNAF 3, William came back and put the animatronics in this furnace, with one possibly escaping, and later William was spring locked. Last piece of evidence is this guy, Candy Cadet. Candy Cadet has a rare chance to tell you one of 3 stories when you play his candy game, and they all follow the lines of 5 things becoming 1 thing, with the MCI having 5 victims who later could be Molten Freddy. It could be foreshadowing this lore piece, though let's get into the issues for Molten MCI. Molten MCI has a few issues, and some of them are major for the story, so let's get into it. First issue is the most major one, and it's how would the FNAF 1 animatronics get to the Sixth location bunker to then be melted down and injected into the fun times. We know William dismantled the animatronics in the FNAF 1 location, however, we don't know over how many nights. Was it just one night or multiple? We don't really know anymore. That's where the issue comes in. If it all happens in one night, how did William haul all the animatronics over the Sixth location bunker to be melted down, infused into the fun times, and then be spring locked? For this to happen, odds are I'd have to assume multiple trips in one night or over the course of multiple nights. Next is actually the topic for the next episode, Rockstar MCI, as we have evidence that Rockstar Bonnie was made from the parts of FNAF 1 Bonnie. We know this from a scrapped email in FNAF AR, however it was stated that these can be used in the lore of FNAF. So this means at the very least, Bonnie is not a part of the Molten MCI, and at the most, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy are all in their Rockstar counterparts. Molten Freddy is just a combination of Funtime Freddy, Funtime Foxy, and Bellora's programming. Next is that all of the Rockstar animatronics are hostile in Ultimate Custom Night. You can say, well, this is just Ultimate Custom Night stuff, but remember, the animatronics that we know that aren't possessed in Ultimate Custom Night are the mediocre melodies, as they are under control of the vengeful spirit in their voice lines.
This is how it feels, and you get to experience it over and over and over again. Forever. I will never let you leave.
Where the Rockstar speak normally, just like any other animatronic, showing there's a good chance that either they're possessed, had some programming to harm others, or it's just Ultimate Custom Night stuff. So, take this point with a grain of salt as it is speculation. Though, that's all the issues with Molten MCI to my knowledge. So, if I forgot anything, whether it be evidence for or against Molten MCI, please let me know in the comments and it will be brought up in the future. Though, let's get into the story for Molten MCI. Okay, so let's get into a possible story for Molten MCI, assuming that it is canon. Now remember, this uses evidence we have for it while taking into consideration possible issues, so take this story with a grain of salt. This is going to take a lot of inspiration from one of my previous videos as well, and I recommend watching it as it helps with the timeline of the dislocation events. Otherwise, let's get into it. After Michael was sent to the FNAF 2 location to get Remnant from the toy and withered animatronics failed, Michael confronted his father William about the suits possibly being possessed. Michael believed this, however, he wanted to do some more investigating, but there were no more locations. That is until 1993, when the old withered animatronics were reused for the new animatronics at this location. Michael took the night shift, and he definitely got his answers, and confronted William on this. William admitted to knowing that they were possessed, but not that he is the one who caused it, but rather was trying to help them. He sent Michael into the dislocation bunker to see his sister Elizabeth to get the truth and to help her, and thanked him for finding the other possessed animatronics. But in reality, William was furious that Michael found out the truth, and wanted Michael to be unalived by the fun times, while William would go into the FNAF 1 location to round up the endos of the animatronics to be melted down and injected into the fun times. William did accomplish this night by night, and after he injected the fun times one by one, he went back one last time. However, William wouldn't be coming back home due to him being spring-locked. Michael, however, was doing his night shifts at the bunker each night, and each night William injected one of the fun times with some of the MCI Remnant. However, on night 5, Michael was scooped by Ennard, unaliving him for the time being, while Ennard used Michael as a suit. Later, Ennard left Michael's body, and Michael was resurrected due to the possible healing properties of Remnant, or there being too much Remnant. Ennard, having the MCI and Elizabeth in the amalgamation, came to a decision to kick out Elizabeth. We don't know the reason for this, but we know it happened. My theory is that they found out that the person they unalived wasn't William, and was furious at Elizabeth for tricking them into unaliving an innocent person. Later, both Elizabeth and Ennard went back to the bunker to get some parts to try to fix themselves as best as possible, turning them into Scrap Baby and Molten Freddy. Michael in the meantime swore that he would find his father and fix what he has done. He eventually found Henry's project of the trap that is Pizza Sim. Michael applied and got the job, and night by night, he brought in Molten Freddy, Lefty, Afton, and Scrap Baby, all having Remnant within them, and at the end of the week, they burned the whole place down, releasing the Remnant from the animatronics, as well as ending the lives of Henry, Emily, and Michael Afton, putting an end to that era of FNAF, and starting the Glitch Trap Mimic era. Okay, so with the issues, there's obviously a few with the story, mainly being the Follow Me minigame in FNAF 3 taking place over multiple nights. The reason for this is because we just don't have any evidence backing that up, as well as why Michael lived afterwards. We know it has to be because of Remnant, but in terms of what it did to him, we don't know. We never see him pass his purple state that we see him in FNAF's Dislocation's custom night cutscenes. So that's all speculation. Otherwise, Rockstar MCI is also a huge issue, as if Bonnie is inside of Rockstar Bonnie, then only 4 animatronics can be in Molten Freddy, which could explain that roaming Endo in Funtime Foxy's hard mode level. Though, I don't know. We'll have to see if this gets elaborated on in the future. Let me know if there's anything that I missed. Just remember to keep it kind, calm, and respectful. Alright, well, I really enjoy this theory, and honestly, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Again, it's definitely one of my longer ones, and I can't wait to see what you all think about it. I was always a huge fan of Molten MCI, though with Rockstar MCI being a thing, I don't really know what to think of it anymore. There's so much going for both sides that what if it's a mixture of the two? Maybe I'll have to revisit this in the future and piece it together. Let me know what you think of a combination of Rockstar and Molten MCI forming into a Rockstar Molten MCI video. So that's all I have for today, so let's get right into the outro. Okay, and that is all that I have for this episode. So yeah, before I really get into the typical outro stuff, I just want to quickly thank fellow YouTuber and theorist Sunny Q. You can find all of his links in the description down below. He helped a decent amount with this video. He helped me revise the script because I was talking to him about the whole entire video and things like that. And well, I asked him eventually, hey, do you want to help me revise the script? And he said, yeah, I'm totally down for that. So he helped me, and he also provided that image you saw earlier on of Circus Baby injecting Funtime Freddy with Remnant. And the fact that he was so kind, and plus having conversations with him is so nice. He's a really cool dude. Please go check out his videos. Please do. He's such a cool dude. Go check him out. It's a joy to talk to him. His videos are cool, and it's just amazing to be able to talk with him. And if you do go check out his content, please do let him know that I sent you over, because it's a dream of mine to be able to support other YouTubers, or to even just help them grow just as much as I'm growing myself. It's an absolute dream of mine. So if you can go check him out, please go do that, because that's just an absolute dream of mine. It would mean so much to me, and I'm sure it would mean so much to him as well. So I'm also going to kind of use this as a segue into me kind of saying collaborations. I am totally open for collaborations. It doesn't really matter if it's FNAF. It could be other things outside of FNAF, like Poppy Playtime, Bending the Ink Machine, Dead by Daylight, or really just any game in general in terms of gameplay. In terms of theories, I'd like to keep it more towards, like FNAF, Poppy Playtime, Bendy, and Dead by Daylight. But in terms of gameplay, I'm down to really join anybody on anything. I want to be able to connect with other YouTubers and just be able to build communities with each other and to work with each other and just all that fun stuff. So if you are interested in that, you can find all the ways to contact me in the description down below, such as my Discord, my Twitter, my email, and all of those things. So if you're interested, please do message me and I'll get back to you as fast as I can. So yeah, that's really all that I have for this episode. I do want to say there's 2 more weeks of Bendy by the time this video comes out. I'm recording this all the way back in the beginning of May. It's like a couple days before my birthday now. And after Bendy, we'll get into FNAF 4, Sister Location, and Pizza Sim, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm scared about FNAF 4. I've recorded for now up to night 5, and I still need to record night 6, but I'm too scared to. It's been like a week since I've played night 5, so I'm going to try to get that done tomorrow, but we'll see. So if you guys are excited for those series, please also do hit that like button, because FNAF 4 is absolutely evil. It is the most evil game known to mankind, and I absolutely dread it to this day, and I will continue to for the rest of my life. But yeah, that's really all that I have for this episode. So yeah, if you enjoyed, please do hit that like and subscribe button, as we do have a goal of 3,000 subs by the end of the month. While you're at it, comment down below really anything, whether it's just a whatever comment, how your day was, or comment down below your thoughts, theories, disagreements, just really anything, and I'll do my best to respond. Just make sure to keep everything kind, calm, and respectful. While you're at it, share this video with your friends and families. Every single bit helps. And well, I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day, stay safe, I'll see you in my next video and or live stream, and peace out. It is possible for Everybody was kung fu fighting.